It's closed. Transfer window is closed, but Chelsea still have hope for signing Jules Kounde in January. Let's get into the video. Welcome, Bratoki. Today's video is a big one. Today's video is an exciting one, and the transfer window's closed, right, in England. But there is still news around Chelsea and players going out. Yes, there is a lot of news about players going out. Saul, Tino Anjorin, and there's a few players that are left on the side that we have no idea what's going to happen with. Ross Barkley, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We're going to review the transfer window in its entirety at the end of the video. But we're going to start with the big news involving Jules Kounde and Sevilla, why the deal broke down, and why Chelsea feel like they need to get this player in January. So let's get into the video. But of course, it's the first of the month, new analytics, and I need your support here, guys. Look, every single time you guys watch a video, the bare minimum I ask is just you hit that like button. That's all I ask. Hit the like button. If you want to be extra kind, put it in the comments below. Today, I want you to criticize me in some shape or form. Literally, get at me. Roast me. Give me your best joke about me. So in that comments below, get in there and start doing it. But let's get on with the video. Alright, so Matt Law is reporting that Chelsea were extremely keen on Jules Kounde. Jules Kounde is a centre-back that we've been chasing all summer. It's a centre-back that the club has been looking at for 2 years, allegedly, and it's important to the club to go and get him. And a lot of you can say, what is this obsession with Jules Kounde? Well, the obsession with Jules Kounde, one, he's a bloody great player. Like, he's absolutely fantastic. He's good on the ball. He can play left-hand side of the defense and right-hand side of the defense. And more importantly, he does that thing that Thomas Tuchel loves. He can literally follow the striker into midfield when they drop deep and become a holding defender, and then we'll move to a 4, and then when he decides, we'll come back and slide right into a 3. He's very versatile. He's comfortable out of the area. So overall, he's a very good player. But why are Chelsea so heavily invested into this player? Well, number one being Rudiger's contract expires next year. He becomes a free agent. Come January, he can sign with whoever he wants. Number two, Azpilicueta's contract is up next summer. And 3, Thiago Silva's contract is up next summer. So all of a sudden, we went from having Christensen, Thiago Silva, Azpilicueta, Rudiger, and Zuma to potentially only having Christensen, Chalobah. I think Azpilicueta will sign a new deal. I think the other 2 will be leaving. I think the rumours behind Rudiger have gone really quiet. I think Real Madrid might be sniffing around, maybe trying to, go into his ears, whisper some lovely things. The next thing you know, pickpocket our defender away from us without us noticing. The reality is he might want to change. Rudiger has openly discussed how the fans treated him when life wasn't rosy, when life wasn't great, and how he didn't like London. So potentially he could be moving on. So Chelsea will evidently be in for Kounde in January. They will actively try to secure the deal, whether it's for him to come in January or for him to come after. The interest is not dropped. This is coming from Simon Johnston. This is coming from Matt Law. And this is coming from Nazir Khanfila. A lot of people have said this. Chelsea are extremely interested. They just weren't willing to pay the valuation fee at this moment in time. With a year less on the deal, 6 months less, Sevilla are in a weaker bargaining chip. So we'd like to see it. Hopefully we get the player. I think he'll be a great asset to the team. Story number 2, and this one's really interesting for me. Tino Anjorin looks like he's going to Lokomotiv Moscow. Yes, that's how you pronounce it properly, not Lokomotiv Moscow. It's Lokomotiv Moscow, and it looks like he will be going there on a permanent basis. Yes, so this is a formality where he goes on a loan with a £17 million option to buy. So if he balls out, which he should, a player of his attributes, they will sign him. But Chelsea have a buyback clause, and this one's a very good one. Chelsea have a £34 million buyback clause that is active for the next 2 years. So if at any time they say, you know what, big man, you've become really good, come back to our team, Tino has to come. And this is the great news. If anyone else wants to sign him, he will come. The only problem is he has to want to come. That's the only key. But Chelsea didn't cut ties with him on a horrible basis. If anything, Chelsea are happily letting him move on with his career, develop himself, get some more bread at the time. Because realistically speaking, they're going to be overpaying him to go over there. So this deal can still happen. And I know a lot of you are going to say, hold on, transfer window's closed, big man, what are you talking about? No, it's not closed in Turkey and it's not closed in the one and only Russia. So it means the move can happen, and I wish him all the best. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, this move is gonna get confirmed soon. Apparently, this isn't even an if but or maybe. This is a done deal. Going on, and more important news, Chelsea have got a lot of players that have stayed because loan moves couldn't be secured, even permanent moves. Number one being Ross Barkley. Burnley move fell through. Ruben Loftus-Cheek was offered to West Ham. They said no thank you. They're not interested in him. They didn't want to sign him. Then there are other teams, and this is the other players. Lewis Baker, he's still on the wage bill. Nowhere to be seen. They can't move him. No one wants him. Malang Sarr's deal collapsed on deadline day, and now it looks like they're going to try to explore possibilities of moving him to Turkey or the one and only Russia, like I said. And why I say that is because I'm Kavkas, bro. We're from that side of the world, so one and only. So it's going to be interesting to what happens. Don't be surprised if any one of those four players ends up going to Turkey or Russia. I think this is a shame because Ruben Loftus-Cheek is Premier League ready, man. He needs to be playing, and so is Ross Barkley. The fact that they're going to have to go abroad and they're going to have to go to a lower tier of level of football because they couldn't sort out deals. One, it's indicative of their agents. They need to have a long, hard look at their agents. And two, what were Chelsea and the players doing? Like, how is this not sorted out? Like, I used the analogy yesterday, and I used it strongly when I said, if you're studying the day before the test, something went wrong in your preparations. You don't study the day before the test. You're ready. You should be ready. The day before the test. There is nothing you can learn the day before the test, in my opinion, to sit a test that you've been preparing for 6 months. It shouldn't have to happen. And the fact that they couldn't sort out a loan in a 3-month period, it tells you everything you need to know. Like, it tells you Chelsea didn't care enough about the players' well-being. It shows the players weren't serious enough about going and sorting a move out for themselves and left it to the clubs. And it shows that the interest just weren't there for them. So overall, it's a big mess. And at the end of the day, it's what happens. But now let's review the transfer window. Chelsea made a bad boy profit in this window. And when I tell you they made a bad boy profit, I mean north of 36 million. That's how much of a profit they made. They signed a player that we needed in Romelu Lukaku, and another beautiful backup player who could potentially be a starter for our team in Saul. Saul on the loan, Lukaku for 97 million. Gotta love those moves, I'm not gonna lie to you. But they've sold off a lot of great talent. And to review them, I think there's only one way of doing it. We start going through the list. Tammy Abraham had to go, in my opinion. He needed to play first team football. He can't just be sitting on his ass accepting a wage and ruining his development, in my opinion. He's too good to sit on the bench. He needs to go. Fikayo Tomori, great money. Came out of the youth academy. Personally, I would have kept him. I really would have kept him. I think he's ready for Chelsea. One day, potentially, we could go and re-sign him. Mark Guehi, he's one that I would have been willing to let go. Because, I don't know, man. A lot of people have a lot of stocks in this guy. I personally don't see the great fuss about him. I think he's a very good defender. But I don't think he's Chelsea quality. The one time I saw him live, I was left disappointed. It was for Chelsea. I was left a slightly little bit disappointed. I said, you know what, a good defender, but not Chelsea level. Then there's so many other players that left. Victor Moses for 7 million. A bunch of other players went for a good sample of money. But the most important part here is we got a lot of deadwood out. And when I say a lot of deadwood, I mean Bakayoko has gone with an obligation to buy in 2 years. So he ain't never coming back to Chelsea. There's other players that have gone. Danny Drinkwater went on loan, and next year his contract expires, so he's never coming back to Chelsea. Michy Batshuayi is a sad one for me. He's gone to Besiktas, so he's going to be balling out. Hopefully getting a good amount of goals, but he signed a new deal, so he'll be back next year. Hopefully we secure a good fee for him. And all in all, it was a good transfer window for Chelsea. Like, Chelsea were very professional. They knew what they wanted to do. Yes, did the Saul deal drag out a bit longer than it should have? Yes, it did. Did they want Kounde? Yes, but Sevilla went up against their word. If you don't know what happened, there's a video that I made on it. I was very emotive, very angry, very emotional. So go and check that out. But otherwise, guys, that's just the window for you lot in a nutshell. Like, if I were to grade it out of 10, I'd say maybe it's a 7, 8 out of 10. We'll go with an 8 out of 10. Now that the water has calmed down, the tide is down, and I can reflect over what it is, we're in good position to go and compete for a title. I think we can win the title. There will be a lot of content coming out during the international break where we'll be tracking what the players are doing on an international break, giving them all love, giving them all props. Look, we're back, we're better, we're stronger. Chelsea should be winning the league this year. Now, let me ask you guys for a quick favor. Hit the like button before you guys go, subscribe to the channel, and in the comments below, just write draft. Draft, just so I know how many of you lot made it to the end, and more importantly, just confuse some people in the comments below. But let's keep at it. Peace out, I'm out, bye.